Hi there. This is the Warm Audio Mutation Phasor 2, and today I'll be using it to find out if phasors sound just as good on synths and drums as they do on guitars and bass. Phasors are among the earliest guitar effects to have been ever created and were originally produced to simulate the sound of organ rotary speakers. They were insanely popular in the 70s and became a signature sound of funk music, as well as being widely used in the more psychedelic side of the experimental rock scene. The phasor effect can be heard in a variety of musical styles, and it just so happens to be front and center on one of my favorite songs of all time. So what exactly is a phasor? A phasor in essence is an effect where a given number of filters will move across frequencies to produce a soft sweeping motion to the incoming audio. You might think of it as multiple notch filters being moved simultaneously by a single LFO. One of the most iconic phasor pedals was the Mutation Phasor 2, which came out in the early 70s and was since discontinued long ago. Though you can still find a couple of them on Reverb for upwards $500, albeit in a pretty rough overall shape. Enter the Warm Audio Mutation Phasor 2, a faithful recreation of that legendary effect pedal. As a quick disclaimer, Warm Audio did send me this pedal for review, but they are not paying me, nor do they have any say in the contents of this video. This video does have a sponsor, and that's the good folks at Perfect Circuit. Perfect Circuit is the place to find all sorts of synthesizers, samplers, effects pedals, Eurorack modules, and much more. They have great customer service and offer international shipping. They even ship all the way down to Chile, where I currently live. Around these parts, it's very hard to find gear, especially the good stuff, and it's only thanks to companies like Perfect Circuit that I've been able to keep this channel going for as long as it has. If you have the itch to buy something music related, please use the affiliate links down below. When you buy from Perfect Circuit, it allows them to be able to keep supporting me and other creators like me, so we can continue making music and fun videos just like this one. Thanks. Compared to some of the other more complex pedals that I've been using lately, the Mutation Phasor 2 is pleasantly simple to understand and use. It has 3 control knobs, which allow you to set the rate or speed at which the sweeps will happen, the slowest being 1/10 of a sweep per second, giving you a nice wavy feel, and the highest being 18 sweeps per second. The second knob controls the depth, which will define the width or the amplitude of the sweep frequency range, having a more pronounced impact on the sound. And finally, the feedback, which adds on to the wet signal, mostly adding resonance and intensity to the effect, which when pushed to the extremes can sound almost a bit vocal in tone. It's pretty easy to get familiar with and a lot of fun to play with without much fuss. So let's start with a synth bass patch and see how it sounds. Here I'm using the Sequential Pro 3 into the Phasor 2. So that sounds pretty good, but how about we try this pedal on a drum loop and see what happens. Here I have my Octatrack set up so that the drum loop goes into the phasor and back inside the mix. I'm going to be tweaking the phasor on the fly to give the drum loop some interest as it goes along. if you do like exploring sounds, I'm willing to bet you have more pedals in your arsenal. And one of the joys of using effects pedals is pairing them up together to create your own effects chains. In this next example, I'm routing the Make Noise Strega into the Empress Reverb, and I'm sending all of that into the phaser to give it some movement. I'm also routing the O-Coast through the hologram microcosm for a bit of ambient randomness. Even though I'm being subtle with it here, the phaser gives it just enough movement so that arpeggio doesn't get boring quickly. Finally, I want to use the phaser on one of my favorite synths, the Polybrute. All in all, I'm pretty satisfied with the Mutation Phasor too. It fits snugly into a mix and tracks my synths and drums quite nicely, making it a very usable effect for a synthesizer setup. As far as criticisms go, my only gripe with it is the size, which does take up a bit of my ever-diminishing desktop real estate, though since the footprint is in keeping with the original model, and as far as I know, all the internals are analog, I guess it's understandable. On the flip side, I do appreciate that the hefty knobs allow for easy handling, and the space between them means that I'm not accidentally knocking over another knob all the time when I'm jamming. Priced at $149, I do have to say it's a pretty attractive effects pedal at a very reasonable price. If you're looking for a pedal to give you that funky and spacey vibe without breaking the bank, can't go wrong with this one. I just realized, even though I've used phasers before, this is the first hardware dedicated pedal I've ever tried out. Do you have any phaser pedals yourself? Let me know in the comments if there are any other of these tribute pedals that you think I should try out. As always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this video useful, or at least entertaining. Have a great week. See you next time.